Okay, so let's get started with today's lecture. Yeah, so we are going to cover a slightly, advanced topic which is called Markov chains. Okay, so this was not planned to be covered as part of the course, but it's an important topic that you should know about. Okay, so yeah, it's a deep topic. It requires a lot of lectures to cover it, but we will just give it an overview of the results and few examples of what it is. Okay. Most likely in your more specific courses later they will, this theory will be reviewed anyway. Okay, so but let's still get introduced to what it is. Okay, so suppose you have the city, okay, or you have this think of a graph. Okay, these might be some junctions, these nodes. Yeah, and one person is just going. Okay, he's typically I go to a different city. I just yeah, this is what I try to explore. If I go to a foreign country, uh, every day morning I go for a walk and try to explore what is around my hotel. Okay, yeah. So I just randomly go around and walk to what is nearby and see, find out what it is there. Okay. So, this might be some place like this. Okay. So this is one junction. This is another junction. Yeah. So I walk around. Yeah. So at each junction, I need to make a decision. Okay. Where should I go next? Yeah. Suppose I take that distance randomly. Okay. So from 1, I might go to 2 with probability 1 by 3, to 4 with probability 1 by 3, to 5 with probability 1 by 3. Yeah. So strictly speaking, I should also put arrows. Yeah. So from 2, yeah, I again randomly choose a road to take, right? So yeah, again, so I might come back to 1 with probability 1 by 3. Yeah, I will go to 4 with probability 1 by 3. I will go to 3 with probability 1 by 3. Yeah. So from 4, if I reach 4, I again choose a random path. Okay, so the probability of going from 4 to 2 will be, so the 4 has lot of neighbors, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's only 1 by 5. Yeah, so is it clear what is happening here? So from 3, so yeah, this is 1 by 3, this is 1 by 3, this is 1 by 3. This also happens to be 1 by 3. Yeah, because this node has 1, 2, 3 neighbors. So it is 1 by 3, 1 by 3. Yeah, that is already taken care of. So you understand the picture, right? So this is what we are doing. I am just randomly taking a walk. Okay. At every junction, I will choose a random path, including the junction I came from. Yeah. Now, okay. Yeah. Is there a question? Yeah. So this is what I'm going to do. So let's say I started from 1. Yeah. Initially I started from the place 1. Yeah. And I want to know, let's say after 2 steps, what is the probability? Where am I? So yeah, let's say I started, my initial state is, so P0, let's call it P0 is our initial state. It is essentially, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's say it is, I am at the state 1, probability 1 and 0 everywhere else. Yeah, this is my P0, where I am in the initial time. So what is P1? How do you find P1? Yeah, so could you tell me what is the probability that in the first step I am in the state 1?
1.
Why is
0.
that?
0. 0.
Why did you say 1? Sorry, I didn't follow. Somebody said 1. So initially at time t equal to 0, I started at 1. Then it went to a random neighbor of 1, which is 2, 3, 2, 4, and 5. Right? But I mean, I didn't stay at 1. I randomly chose a neighbor and went to that junction. So I either go to 2, 3, or 5. Yeah. So the probability of 1 is going to be 0. So 2, 4, and 5. So 3 is going to be 0 because I will not be able to reach directly to 3 in 1 steps. Yeah. So 6 and 7 is also going to be 0. And what is the probability here?
1/3, sir.
1/3. Okay, great. So I know where I am after 1 step. Yeah. So what about after 2 steps? What is the probability? So I will just ignore this label 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are going to be 7 numbers, and that is the probability of the corresponding node. So what should I write here? How will I find these values? Yeah.
Sir, in the state 1, it will be 1/3.
State 1, it will be 1/3. Why do you say state 1 it is 1/3?
Sir, considering that if we are at 2, then we can go to 1, 4, or 3. And similarly, if we are at 4 or 5, then.
So the number here, how do you obtain the number here? Yeah. This particular number. So after the first step, I might be in 2, 4, or 5, right? Yeah. Suppose I'm in 2, I will return back with probability 1/3. Yeah. So it is 1/3 into 1/3.
Into 1/3, yes, sir.
Yeah. Plus, suppose I'm at 4. So that happens with probability 1/3 after the first step. What is the probability that I return back to 1?
1/5.
1/5. Plus, suppose I am in 5. Yeah. What is the probability that I return back to 1?
1/2.
1/2. Yeah. So if you do this calculation, you will get this number. Okay, so you will get this number. Yeah. So how do you get this number? You know now how to get that number?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Okay. So we know how to compute P2. What about P5? How do you compute P5? I want to compute P5. Yeah.
Sir, it will be 0.
So P5 is going to be 0. So what is P5? P5 is the probability distribution at the after the fifth step. P0 is the initial distribution.
Okay.
After 1 step, it is P1. After 2 steps, it is P2. After 5 steps, it is P5. So how do you compute P5?
We have to compute first P3 and P4 also.
Yeah, you have to compute first P3 and P4 and P4. Okay? Is there a simpler way? Is there a simpler way? I'm sure you have seen this somewhere or other, at least in algorithms course and everything, you would have seen this.
So cover all 5 length paths.
Yeah, 5 length paths. How do you get paths? Like if you are if you are moving around in a graph, how do you find the number of paths? Is there an easy way to find the number of paths between two vertices?
Yes, sir, by the adjacency matrix and
Yes, you can use the adjacency matrix. Yeah. So if you think about it, actually this P1 was obtained by P0 by multiplying by a matrix. Yeah. So P1 was 1. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So P1 was 1. So from 1, so what is the adjacency matrix of this graph? So there is a edge from 1 to 2. So with of weight 1 by 3. Yeah. 1 to 4 of weight 1 by 3. 1 to 5 of weight 1 by 3. Yeah. Similarly, 2 to 1. 2 to 1 of weight 1 by 3. 2 to 2. 2 to 2 there is no edge. So 2 to 3 of weight 1 by 3. 2 to 4 of weight 1 by 3. 2 to 5 is not there. I think there is nothing else. Yeah. And 3 to 1. 3 to 1 is not there. 3 to 2 is there of 1 by 3. 3 to 4 is there of 1 by 3. And 3 to 7 is there of 1 by 3. Yeah. And 4. Yeah, so 4 is connected to almost everything. So it is 1 by 5, 1 by 5, 1 by 5. 4 is also there. No, this is 0. 4 to 5 is not there. That is also 0. 4 to 6, 1 by 5, 1 by 5. Yeah. And 5, 5 there is only two connections. 1 by 2 and 1 by 6. Yeah. And 6, there are three connections. One is there to 6, 4 and 1 is there, right? So it is 1 by 3, 1 by 3, 1 by 3. Seven, what can happen? 7 can go to 4, 3 and 6. 4, 3 and 6. Everybody understood what this graph is? Sorry, what this matrix is? Yeah?
yes, sir.
So how did I obtain P1? P1 was obtained by take this vector, yeah, and put it as a column vector. Okay, it's a column vector. Yeah, and you multiply by this matrix. That's how you get P1. How did you get P2? Let's call this matrix M. P2 was obtained by just multiplying M with P1. The same matrix M with P1. Right? In this calculation, how did you do it? So yeah. So actually P2 is M squared times P0. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So how do I find P5 now? So it is just M raised to 5 times P0. Yeah. So think of this probabilities as a vector. Okay, it's just a vector of numbers which add up to 1. Okay, of positive numbers which add up to 1. Yeah, and I mean the probabilities, in this this is called a random walk. You are randomly taking a walk, right? And the probabilities of a random walk is given by just a multiplication by of this vector by a matrix. Keep on multiplying by the same matrix. Yeah. Okay. So there's a nice expression. If you want to get the probability at any time, there's a very simple expression for this. Okay. Now, one interesting question in this kind of situations is, what will happen after a long time? Suppose I start taking this walk, okay, and I keep on going, keep on going, keep on going, keep on going. What will happen after a long time? So I'm interested in, let's say, Pi. So let's say Pt at the tth instance is m raised to t times P0. Yeah. So what do you think will happen? After a long time step, what do you think will happen? Yeah. Every path is traveled and yeah. So the interesting thing is as t tends to infinity, eventually this p of t will converge to something called p star. Okay, and this is called a stationary distribution. Okay, so if I start taking a random walk, and this happens in many situations in practical life. Okay, I mean physics particle. Okay, this nodes might denote the state of the system. Yeah, and it has a probability of going in various directions. Yeah, and what happens after a long term to that physical system? It will reach a equilibrium state. Yeah, and yeah, so physicists call this equilibrium state. So it reaches a stationary distribution. Yeah, so this doesn't happen always. Okay, it happens only under some conditions. Yeah, and yeah, so this is the yeah, this okay. So this is what a Markov chain is, and this is one of the main concerns in a Markov chain. What will happen to a system after a long time? Okay. So you get an idea what this is. We'll mathematically define things now, but yeah, this is what we want to capture mathematically. Okay, we'll see some more clear examples later. Okay, so let me just write down what this is. So a Markov chain. What is a Markov chain? It is a sequence of random variables. Yeah. A sequence of random variables. Yeah, so there will be x0, which is the state at the 0th instant, initial state. X1 is the state at the first instant. X2 is the state at the second instant, and so on. Yeah, it's a sequence. It's an infinite sequence. Yeah. So whenever you have a sequence of random variable, it is called a process. A process is a sequence of random variable. At every time instant, there is some random variable. The sequence of random variable like that is called a process. It's called a random process. Yeah. So all these random variables. So all this random variable takes values. Yeah. Xi takes values in, let's say, a state set omega. Okay. So in our particular case, the omega was 1 to 7. It was a set of junctions. Yeah. And yeah, so this is called the state space. Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, earlier we said sample space. So but in Markov chain language, whenever Markov chain is used, This particular term is more commonly used. State space. State space is a set of all possibilities for the single random variable. Yeah. So for every random variable in the sequence, there is a state space. It's the state space of that random variable. Yeah. So any sequence of random variables is not a Markov chain. Okay. Any sequence of random variables is not a Markov chain. So Markov chain, yeah, requires a particular condition to be satisfied. So this is called, just a second. So if you take you look at the probability of, yeah, the ith random variable equal to, let's say, some value ai, yeah, and if you condition it on xi minus 1 equal to ai minus 1 and xi minus 2 equal to ai minus 2 up to x0 equal to a0, yeah. So what is happening? So I took I steps. Yeah, I just took I random steps. Yeah, when I walk through the graph. Yeah, and I want to find the probability that in the ith step I am in the state AI. Yeah, AI might be equal to 5. Ith step I am in the state 5. Yeah? But you are given where did I go in the last I minus 1 steps? Yeah. So what is this probability? You are told that in the previous step you were in I minus AI minus 1. That's what this means, no? In the you were told that, okay, where did I reach in the last I minus 1 places? Where did I reach? You are told that, and I took one more step. How do you find this probability?
So based on number of paths, you can, number of incoming edges to a minus a I minus 1.
Number of, so yeah, so you are already in I minus 1. Yeah.
So from there, it depends on how many ways you can go. So
Yeah.
depends.
But does it depend upon AI minus 2?
You're already in a I minus 1. No, sorry, you're given.
Yeah. So actually all this didn't matter. It only mattered where you were in the previous step. Right?
So
Yeah. This probability, actually you don't need to condition on everything. So you are doing this walk, yeah, and you are told about the entire history of what happened, which all junctions I reached. But what is going to happen in the next step? It just depends on where you were in the immediately previous step, right? You are told that in the immediately previous step, you are at AI minus 1. And it only depends upon that, where you were in the immediately previous step. It doesn't depend upon what happened long past. You agree?
yes, sir.
Yeah. So, yeah. So this is not a, these are not independent random variables. Yeah, they are dependent random variables. Why the dependency is very limited. Yeah. A random variable is not dependent upon the entire history. The dependence of the random variable is limited to the immediately previous random variable, not the entire history. Yeah. So if this condition is satisfied, yeah, then this sequence of this random process is called a Markov chain. Okay. any sequence of random variables which satisfies this condition. That means, yeah, if you look at the a future state, yeah, conditioned on what happened in the past, it will only depend upon the immediate past, that is just the previous state, not the entire sequence of steps. My probability in the next step only depends upon where I am currently, not going to depend upon where I was one step back. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's the definition of a Markov chain. Yeah. So Markov chain already has a state space, and it also has what is called a transition probability matrix. Yeah. And what is the transition probability matrix? So it's a matrix, yeah, where the mijth entry, yeah, is essentially the probability that, yeah. So let's say let's say x1 equal to, yeah. So it's a bit confusing here. X1 equal to j given x0 equal to I. Yeah, so what was this number 1 by 3? The number 1 by 3 is the probability that x1 is I am in 2, given that my initial state was 1. Yeah. This is the probability that I reach 2, given that my previous state was 1. Yeah. And that's what I have written here. Yeah. So xi, so let's call this xt. I mean, this can be any number actually. Yeah. So given that xt minus 1 equal to I, yeah, what is the probability that xt equal to j? Yeah. So I am connected to the institute network. It's unlikely that the lag is due to my side. Yeah, so I am connected to a wired institute network. So it's unlikely that the lag is from my side, but possibly I'm not sure. Yeah? Okay, so yeah, so this is the definition of transition probability matrix. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. So yeah. So this is the definition of a Markov chain. Yeah. And so Mij. So there is this matrix M, and the interesting thing about Markov chain is, if you want to compute the probability at the tth time step, it is nothing but m raised to t times, yeah, your initial probability. Okay. So yeah, so it's very easy to calculate. Yeah, at any step what is the probability. Okay. So let's look at an example. Let's look at another example of this. Okay. Yeah. So suppose you have n cards. Yeah. So the very common example is this. Yeah. So suppose you have only 3 cards. Okay. Yeah. So I have a deck of 3 cards. I have kept the cards 1, 2, 3. So the cards is 1, 2, 3. Okay. So the cards, let's say 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So what is the arrangement of the card? It's basically how many arrangements can be there of 3 cards?
3 factorial.
3 factorial 6 ways. Okay. So let's write it down. Okay. So I have, okay, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 1 is in the top, 2 is in the middle, and 3 is in the bottom. So what I am going to do is, I'll pick the card in the top and put it at a random position. Yeah, I'm going to put it at a random position. Yeah. So I could take the top card and keep it in the same place with probability 1 by 3. Yeah. I could take the top card and keep it in the second place. Yeah. So it is 2, 1, 3. with probability 1 by 3. Yeah, I can keep it in the bottommost place. Sorry, yeah, I can keep it in the bottommost place. Yeah, with probability 2, 3, 1. Yeah, with probability 1 by 3. And I keep on doing this. So yeah, what are the places I should, what are the arrows I should draw from here? So I can pick 2 in, 2 is now in the top. I'll pick 2 and put it at a random place in the deck. Yeah. So I can go back with probability 1 by 3. So what other states can I reach from here?
One, three, two, sir.
So 2 I can pick and keep it in the bottommost place. Yeah. 1, 3, 2. Okay. So 1, 3, 2. That probability is 1 by 3. Then
You can go to that same state which you have written, so 2, 1, 3.
2, 1, 3. 2, 1, 3. So from here I can come back to 2, 1, 3. Is that what you're saying? No, but here I can I come back to 2, 1, 3? Just a second.
A self loop, sir.
It's lagging.
There's a self loop. Okay, there's a self loop. Yeah. Yeah, and then in nothing else. That's all. Yeah. So yeah, what about this? Yeah, there's again a self loop here of 1 by 3. Yeah. And 3, 1, 2. 3, 1, 2. 3, 1, 2 is we haven't written anywhere. 3, 1, 2. Yeah. And yeah, everything has a self loop of 1 by 3. Yeah. And 3, 1, 2 and 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1 have we written? No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. So this can go here with probability 1 by 3. Yeah. And what else? What are the other arrows I should put? 3, 2, 1. So here I can go from here to 1 by 3. 3, 1, 2. 3, 1, 2. So here from here I can go 1 by 3. Yeah. So is there any arrows left over?
From 3, 1, 2 nodes, sir. 2.
From here also I can go here. Yeah, I can here go from here or from here also. Yeah. So if you look at it, just a second. So is there an edge from here to here? Yeah, there is an edge from here to here. Okay. Is it clear? Is there anything wrong with this figure? Yeah, from 3 I can place it in the same place. 2, 3, 1 I can go to. 2, 3, 1 I can go to. Or 2, 1, 3 I can go to. Oh, there is a edge from here to here as well. Everybody understood what is happening? Yeah, so every node should have 3 out vertices. Yeah, every node should have 3 out vertices. So this has 3 out vertices. 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 Yeah, so everything is fine. Is it clear what is happening? Okay. Now, yeah, you keep on shuffling this deck of cards. We are interested in n cards, but here we are only looking at 3 cards and doing an example. So if you what is the state space?
Sir.
Yes.
Sir, how can we go from 3, 2, 1 to 2, 1, 3 in one step?
3, 2, 1 to
2, 1, 3.
2, 1, 3. So I take 3. Yeah. And I insert it in the bottommost.
That will become
I'll pick
1.
the top card. No. 3 I put in the bottommost will be 2, 1, 3, no?
Okay.
I'm taking the top card and putting it in a random position in the.
I thought we
I
are
can put,
interchanging the cards.
no, I'm taking the top card and putting it in a random position.
Okay, okay.
Sir, from 3, 1,
Okay.
2, we should be able to go to 1, 2, 3, right?
3, 1, 2. How do you go to 1, 2, 3 from 3, 1, 2? Sorry, 3, 1. Where is 3, 1, 2? 3, 1, 2. So yeah, that is right. You should go to 1, 2, 3. So there is something wrong here. So 3, I can put it in the middle. I will go back here. 3, I put it in the same place. Oh, so there's no edge like this. I cannot go from here to here. Yeah, I cannot go from here to here. This is wrong. Yeah, so okay, you get the idea what it is. Okay, now what is the state space? So if you track this card, okay, I mean the arrangement of this card over time, you will get a sequence of random variables, right? Yeah, what is the state space of this process? Self loop meaning we are just keeping it the same place. I'm taking the top card and I could keep it the same place or one below or one below or one below. I could take in any of the n-1 n positions between the previous n-1 cards. Okay, yeah. So what is the state space? Suppose you have n cards and you are doing this. What is the state space? Yeah, it is the set of all permutations. Everybody agrees? Yeah, so there are n factorial of this. Suppose you have n card, there will be n factorial of this. Yeah. Now, I mean, yeah. So is this a Markov chain? Yeah. Suppose you are shuffling the deck of cards. Okay. You know what happened in the previous t-1 steps. Yeah. What was the arrangement in the previous t-1 steps? Suppose you do one more shuffle. Yeah. Does it depend upon what happened, what you started with and everything? Yeah, and the number of shuffles could be anything. I have a couple of cards and I'm just keeping on shuffling. Could be anything. Yeah. The thing is, I mean, what is going to happen in the next step doesn't depend upon what happened previously. It is does only depends upon the current position. Yeah. So yeah, my definition of shuffling is I'll pick the top card and put it in a random position. Yeah, that is my definition of shuffling. Just to not confuse with your, yeah, we can analyze your normal shuffle also, but right now we are analyzing the special case, taking the top card and putting it in a random position. So if you have a question, please speak out. Yeah, so there is no question. Everybody understands perfectly what is happening. That this is a Markov chain. Yeah. Yeah. So shuffling cards is a Markov chain where in the special definition of shuffle, we'll take the top card and put it at a random position. Okay. Now, one important question that you would like to know is how many times should you shuffle like this so that yeah, so that all the n factorial positions are equally likely, so that the card is random. Yeah. So how many times to shuffle so that the card arrangement is random. Yeah. So yeah. So yeah, how do you find out? What do you mean by this question? How do you formulate it in terms of probability? Yeah, so in terms of the notation we defined, how do you formulate it?
So I didn't get the question.
So we are shuffling now. We are taking the card and putting it in a random position. Yeah, I'm
Yes, sir.
keeping on doing this. Okay, again I pick a card from the top. I'm keeping it in a random position. Again I pick a card from the top, keeping it a random position. Yeah, how many times should I keep on doing this such that the arrangement of the card is random? So suppose initially the cards was, it is a new deck of cards and it is in some order that you know. Yeah. So when you want to play cards, you have to make it random first, no, before you can give it to people. Yeah. So then we need to shuffle the cards, and we are doing this simple way of shuffling, taking the top card and putting it in random position. Question is, how many times should I do this so that you can be sure that this arrangement is random. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So yeah, how do you analyze this? Yeah. So yeah, so now we will have a probability initial P0. Yeah. So P0 we can write it as a vector. Let's say column vector. So what is the dimension of the column vector?
6 by 6.
6 by 6. So the P0 was a vector, no? Or probabilities
so
were
6.
6. So 6 in this case, but suppose you have n cards.
N factorial.
Yeah, n factorial things. Yeah. So we are asking the question that yeah. So we are asking the question. So what do you mean by this? So what do you mean by random typically? What do you mean by random?
So basically you have to not put the first card in its own place, then definitely you would get some random arrangement.
But
If
there's
the
still a lot of
if the
dependence.
first card picked is not uh, depending on the previous arrangement, if you pick the first card and if you don't place it in the first place, then obviously it is random.
But is it random enough?
Arrangement.
If you do one shuffle and then do you play cards by doing only one shuffle?
Okay, no.
So why do you do multiple shuffles? So what is the idea of random there? Yeah. So you would like to get a probability distribution where all the 6 factorial possibilities are equally likely. Sorry, 3 factorial possibilities are equally likely. So ideally we would like to get the distribution 1 by n factorial, 1 by n factorial up to 1 by n factorial. Yeah. We are starting at a fixed position. Suppose we are starting at a fixed position. Yeah. You would like to keep on going. So let's say P1, P2, P50. Yeah. And you would like to reach here. Yeah. And the question is, how large should T be such that PT is basically this particular vector? This is the question we are asking. Yeah. So how large should T be? Yeah. So how do you answer this question? How do you answer this question? So we know Pt is m raised to t times P0, right? Yeah, we know that Pt is m raised to t times P0.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and so one interesting question I will ask. Okay, suppose the cards are already random. Yeah, suppose you are starting at this distribution. Okay, you have completely shuffled the card very nicely. Yeah, all the n factorial arrangements are equally likely. Suppose you do the shuffle once more. What is the distribution you will get?
Same.
Same. Okay. So let's call this vector P star. Okay. What is m times P star?
P star.
P naught.
P star, right? If your card is equally likely to be all of the n factorial possibilities, I am again picking the top card and putting it in a random position. Yeah, it will be again be. I mean, I'm not favoring any particular position at all. So it has to be the same uniform distribution. Yeah. And what is this equation telling you? Have you seen this equation before? You have never seen this equation before?
Eigenvectors, sir.
Yeah. So what does this mean in terms of eigenvectors and eigenvalues?
P star is an eigenvector of M.
Yeah. P star is an eigenvector of M with eigenvalue
M.
1.
Yeah. Yeah. So so there's an interesting connection between probability and linear algebra. Okay, and the connection comes up in this Markov chain. Yeah. So basically, if you keep on shuffling, yeah, so if you keep on moving according to your Markov chain, yeah, so you will converge to a stationary distribution, and the stationary distribution is nothing but the eigenvector of the transition probability matrix with eigenvalue 1. Yeah. So stationary distribution is eigenvector of M with eigenvalue 1. Okay. Okay. Now, yeah. So we have only 10 minutes more. Okay. So what more should I say here? Yeah. So, okay. So yeah, what is an interesting things to do now? So when you have an arbitrary Markov chain, yeah, you will have an arbitrary graph. Okay. So you will have an arbitrary graph. Let's see some graph. Okay. Yeah, so let's look at this particular graph. So you have 1 here. So maybe I can just copy paste this thing. Just a second. Yeah, suppose you have this graph. Yeah. So your state space and yeah, I mean it might be according to any graph. So this might be your graph. Okay. Yeah. And suppose I start at at one of these nodes and keep on doing a random walk in this graph. That is, I will go to a random arrow that is going out. Okay. Now, yeah. So let's see. Suppose I start at 1. Yeah. After a long time, what will happen? Suppose I start from here. Yeah. What will happen after a long time? So let's say PT, yeah, of 1. Yeah. As t tends to infinity, what will happen? Will it be a non-zero value?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Does anybody believe that it is 0? As t tends to infinity, you are starting at 1 and you are doing this random walk. Does anybody have an idea why PT of 1 is actually 0 as t tends to infinity? There's a simple reason. I mean, you don't need to do a lot of calculation or anything. You can look at this figure and answer.
Sir, once it enters state 3, it can never come back to 1.
Yeah. Once it crosses this bridge, you are never going to come back to 1. Yeah. Remember our infinite monkey theorem? Remember our infinite monkey theorem, no? Which we did in the second lecture or something. And sometime or the other, you are going to take that bridge. Yeah. Sometime or the other in the future, you are going to take this bridge. And once you take that bridge, you are not going to come back to 1. Yeah. So PT of 1 is actually equal to 0 as t tends to infinity. Do you agree? Yeah. The thing is, I mean, as t tends to infinity, this will become very, very minute values. Okay. There's always a probability that I just kept going around 1 and 2. There's always a probability. Yeah. So this, what is the probability of going here? It is 1 by 2. Yeah. So this is again 1 by 2 and this is 1 by 2. Yeah. So like after n steps, maybe with 1 by 2 raised to n probability, I will remain in 1. Yeah. But as n goes to infinity, 1 by 2 raised to n is becoming 0. Yeah. So if n is very large, it's a minute probability only. So almost practically 0. Yeah. So whenever you have a Markov chain, there are 2 types of states. Okay. There's something called transient states. And then there's something called recurrent states. Yeah. The transient states are those states from which you will escape eventually. You will never come back to that state. Yeah. So what is transient state? Yeah. A state is transient. So let me define what recurrent is first. A state is recurrent if for all u reachable from V is also reachable from U. Yeah. So if I start, for example, at this particular node, yeah, I can reach 8, 6, 8 and 6 I can reach, right? Yeah, from my, if I start at 7, yeah, I can reach 8 and 6. You agree? If I start at 7, I can only reach 8 and 6. From 8 and 6, can I reach back to 7? Yeah, I can reach back. From 8, I can go to 6 and I can go to 6. Yeah. So 7 is a recurrent vertex. Yeah. What about 1? Is 1 a recurrent vertex?
No, sir.
No, because I can go to 3 and never come back from 3. Yeah. So this is a transient vertex. Yeah. Transient is not recurrent. Okay. So the interesting thing about Markov chains is eventually, okay, you will escape from all the transient state. Eventually, you will be sitting only in recurrent states. Okay. Eventually, your probability is going to be only in recurrent states. Because transient
Sir,
state.
here in the second node, will it be transient or recurrent?
Node number 2. Yeah.
Yes,
So you
sir.
tell me, is 2 transient or recurrent?
Sir, it should be recurrent because it satisfies that V is reachable from U and U reachable from V. But
Is
if
3
the
reachable
node,
from 2?
sir, if we consider only 1 and 2.
No, you have to consider everything in the graph. For every
Oh,
U reachable from V, V is also reachable from U.
oh, okay, sir.
From 2, 3 is reachable. So then there should be a path also back.
Yes, sir.
If you look at 7, look at the things which are reachable from 7. Only 8 and 6 is reachable. And there's a
Yes,
path
sir.
back from there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you agree? So these are 2 are transient. Yeah.
Yes,
So
sir.
is 8 recurrent? 8 is also recurrent. 6 is also recurrent. What about 5?
Sir, it should be transient.
Yeah, 5 is transient. What about 4?
4 is also transient.
What about 3?
It is also transient.
Yeah. So essentially, what is going to happen in this Markov chain after a long time?
It can only exist in 8, 6, or 7.
Yeah. Eventually, if you remember the infinite monkey theorem, eventually you will take that bridge across to 8, 6, or 7, and then you will remain there. Okay, and you will just remain there. Yeah. So you can ignore all the transient state from your Markov chain. You can just ignore them because eventually you will not never be in the transient states. Yeah.
Sir,
You look. Yes.
but we can reach from we cannot reach from 8 to 3, right?
8 to 3 I cannot reach. Yes.
But from 3 to 8 I can. So like I don't understand. Like we can also make 3 and 4 our recurring state and others the transient states. Can it
No,
not
but
happen?
let's say I go from 3 to 8, I cannot return back to 3, no?
But similarly, like I cannot go from 8 to 3 also.
You cannot go from 8 to 3, but wherever you can go from 8, I can return back also.
Okay.
I can go from 8 only to 6 and 7. From both those places, I can return back.
So then 2 should not be a transient state, right? Because we can go from 2 to 1 and 2 and we can return back also.
No, but you cannot go from, you can go from 2 to 3, but you cannot return back from 3.
Okay.
You need to
We
do it
have to look
for
at
every
all
node.
nodes.
You
Okay,
need to
sir.
do it for all nodes. Because that particular path will be eventually taken by infinite monkey theorem. Eventually that particular path is going to be taken with probability 1, if you remember infinite monkey theorem. And then once that thing is taken, you can never come back. Yeah.
Yes, I get it.
So yeah, you will be always in the recurrent state. actually the set of recurrent state will be will form a strongly connected component. Yeah, and your stationary distribution will be only in the strongly recurrent states. Okay, so today's lecture time is over. I will give you some good exercises. Okay, as assignments, which will be simple only. From your basic understanding, you can work them out. Yeah, to get more idea, please read the textbook more. Okay, so this is again this is not supposed to be covered in detail in this course. Yeah, but it's good that we understand what it is. Okay, yeah. So thank you for today. Okay, bye for now.